have to ask you because you've had so many fantastic calls over the years, especially in recent memory too. So what has been your favorite game to call with the Sharks? And do you have like a favorite moment or play that you always kind of think back to?
Well, I think my favorite moment was early in the Sharks, the third year in the history of the franchise,
Mhm.
and the expansion team Sharks weren't very good because in those days the expansion rules were much different.
Yeah.
In year two, the Sharks were even worse. They went 11-71-2. And in those days, we didn't have overtime in the regular season. So they had two ties along with their 11 wins, but those were really good ties. And so they were bad, really bad. And then in year three, 93, 94, they executed what turned out to be the biggest turnaround in NHL history. They gained 56 more points than the year before. They snuck into the playoffs as the eighth seed in the West. And in round one, back in those days, Detroit used to be in the Western Conference. They matched up against the Red Wings. And Detroit was not only a favorite to win that series, they were a favorite to win the Stanley Cup that year. And as Sharks fans know, the Sharks forced game seven in Detroit, and they won it on a goal by Jamie Baker, who then became my broadcast partner many years later. And for me, that was the culmination of a lot of things. About 4 years prior to that, or five, I had, with a group of people, formed an organization in San Jose called NHL Hockey San Jose, which we later had to change to Pro Hockey San Jose. And our effort was to try and get a franchise for the new San Jose arena.
Mm.
And we didn't have the money to do it, but our goal was to attract people who did. And we were able to do that. And then I was able to, get a job as one of the broadcasters and to reflect back on what we went through just to try and drum up support for hockey in the Bay Area back in the late 80s and early 90s. And then to have it climax in a victory like that,
Hmm.
that was a very special moment, as you can imagine. It was a very personal moment as well. So that's my favorite moment. And then there's been many, many more over the years, but the greatest game that I've ever called, and I would say without doubt, the greatest sporting event I've ever been to, seen, or called. And I've called World Cup playoff
Hmm.
games that Diego Maradona played in Italy. I've been to a perfect game in baseball, but nothing can touch Game 7 two playoff years ago between the Sharks and the Vegas Golden Knights.
I knew you were going to
That
say
for
that.
me is still going to be the greatest sporting event I was ever at because of the shocking nature of it. And it'll have to be something really remarkable to top it. Hopefully that'll be the Sharks winning a Stanley Cup someday.